Hello guys, Winston here. I occasionally get asked by people who miraculously find their way through my potato of a website how to get started with a new Shapeoko. Sometimes they're basic questions like, what do you think of the Shapeoko? Sometimes they're a little more involved, like, I'm getting problems with Carbide motion and I can't figure out universal Gcode sender. Please send help. So after like a dozen inquiries and responses, I decided it'd be a lot less work for me if I revisited some basic topics and made a video explaining how to get started. Hopefully that will nip a lot of the questions in the bud. So for the purposes of this video, let's assume you have a fully constructed Shapeoko that's mechanically and electrically ready to go. Maybe you've even run a Hello World program, though I won't say that's a prerequisite for following this video. Your next objective will probably be to make your own Gcode, and there are a couple free options available to help you with this. MakerCAM, Easel, and Carbide Create are three off the top of my head. For the purposes of this video, let's aim to cut a 1x1 inch square out of some plywood. Starting with my personal favorite, MakerCAM is a browser-based, no-frills Flash app that spits out Gcode that's 99% compatible with the Shapeoko and GRBL. I'm going to do a really quick run-through here because myself and others have done slower-paced tutorials using MakerCAM before. If you really think you're missing out on a lot of juicy informational content, I invite you to search out those videos, but I'm going to try and keep this one short. Point your browser to MakerCAM.com and click Insert Rectangle. It should default to a 1-inch square, so hit OK. Drag the shape to as close to your origin as possible. Highlight your one and only profile and go to Cam, Profile Operations. Set your tool diameter and target depth based on your end mill and stock material. Choose an outer profile because we don't want to cut inside our 1-inch square. Set your safety height to whatever you need in order to clear any work holding fixtures or clamps. Your stock surface will be your z-axis 0, so no need to touch that. Step down or depth of cut should be set to whatever you feel comfortable with for your spindle. I generally go with shallower but faster cuts on my DC spindle and reverse it when using my DWP-611. For your first test, I'd start with a 0.04 inch step down, a feed rate of between 40 to 60 inches per minute, and a plunge rate that's a third of your feed rate. These should be fairly safe for most woods and some plastics. Hit OK and go to Cam, Calculate All. Now you can see the toolpath your CNC will take. This is technically all you need, but it's best to put in some tabs. Highlight your toolpath and select Cam, Add Tabs to Selected. I like to use more tabs that are thinner rather than fewer tabs that are stronger. It's easier to clean up this way. Plug in tabs that are spaced 1 inch apart and a 1/4 inch wide and 0.06 inches tall. Hit OK and arrange your tabs to be centered on each face. Go to Cam, Export Gcode. Make sure your toolpath, Profile 1, is selected and hit Export Selected Toolpaths. Save it and you're ready to cut with one small caveat. You need to open the resulting NC file in the text editor of your choice and remove G40 from the beginning of the file. G40 is an unsupported command in GRBL and will result in the line not being read, which is problematic because G20 is also on the same line. You can also open SVGs from Inkscape or Illustrator in MakerCAM. Just be sure to set your pixel resolution to the correct value for your SVG's source. This is how I cut most of my designs. Easel, for the uninitiated, is another browser-based solution created by Inventables back in the Shapeoko 2 days, and it's open to anyone with an Inventables account. It gives you the option to save your projects in their cloud and is optimized for GRBL-based CNC machines. To start off, go to the Materials menu and pick the closest material to what you're cutting in. Stock size doesn't really matter assuming your design will fit, except for the thickness, which needs to be accurate. Click anywhere else to escape the dialog box. To make a square, click on the rectangular drawing tool and in the Geometry Properties pop-up, go to the Shape tab. Not only can you define the size of your square here, but you can also precisely place it at the origin. Go back to the Cut tab and drag the depth slider all the way to the bottom. Also click on the Outline operation and select Outside. Make sure Use Tabs is selected. Then hit Advanced, Generate Gcode, and Export Gcode. And that's it, you're done. Overall, it's a cleaner process than MakerCAM, and I really want to like it considering I had a hand in shaping its development. Coordinate-based shape placement was something I petitioned for, and I even emailed Zach Kaplan a literal back-of-the-envelope sketch about it. But as a tinkerer, I really want to control every bit of the process, like the order of cuts and individual feed rates for different operations, and that's just not something you can do with Easel. Of note, Easel also supports SVG import, and because it reads metadata from the file, it automatically uses the correct pixel resolution. Carbide Create is, as the name suggests, a Carbide 3D solution that's currently in closed beta and will be available soon to all Shapeoko 3 and Nomad 883 owners. Because it's not a public release, I can't really provide any hard information about its features and how to use them because they are liable to change before launch. However, I can say that it is genuinely different from Easel in a couple ways. Number 1, the software works offline, no internet connection required. 2, it supports advanced Boolean vector operations, so you can, for example, make a snowman by combining circles. 3, it lets you have dynamic references so you can snap to edges and vertices and midpoints of other shapes. 4, it has access to all of your native fonts for creating text. And 5, it lets you create n-sided polygons. It's still got a few bugs to work out, but I thought it was worth mentioning, something to keep an eye on for sure. Check out Edward's video on the Carbide 3D YouTube channel for a more in-depth preview. MakerCAM, Easel, and Carbide Create are 3 basic programs you can use to set up your 2.5D jobs and create Gcode for flat shapes. The next step is to stream your programs to your Shapeoko and start cutting, and that will be the subject of my next video. Thank you all very much for watching.